Hello everyone and welcome back to the Common Sense Crypto channel. As with you always, this is Rich doing another video today on XRP. So I hope you're all having a wonderful day today wherever you are in this great world. We're gonna talk about XRP. And I had to start with this from James Rule, XRP. He's wondering why Charles Gasparino is worried if the Ripple case was dropped. And this is what Charles said. I think there's a chance it gets reversed and XRP and Ripple's back on the hook. The SEC may drop the whole thing now that Trump is in there. There's a whole other thing you have to worry about. And this is why I get it from both sides, both pro-crypto and anti-crypto. XRP is never going back on the hook. XRP is not a security now, and it's not going to be a security in the future. And why does he care if the SEC drops the whole thing? That would be a good thing, especially going forward with innovation in the United States. Honestly, I think Charles Gasparino is just another mainstream hack. Maybe he has some involvement with Ethereum. Who knows? But to come out and say that XRP might end up back on the hook, that's just bullshit. From David Schwartz, there is a main reason why stablecoins will never remove the need for cryptocurrencies as bridge assets and certain other uses. Now, everybody's talking about RLUSD. They're worried that RLUSD is somehow going to replace XRP. Being tied to USD also brings jurisdictional ties as well that are, let's be realistic, increasingly unwanted in many parts of the world. Today, many sovereign countries around the world want independence from a system that gives jurisdictions like the US and the EU extraterritorial control over systems in those sovereign countries and their regions. Saudi Arabia, for example, wants a payment system in the Middle East that respects their sovereignty. If each country issues their own CBDC or starts using stablecoins denominated in different regional currencies, we risk repeating this mistake yet again. We drastically need interoperability between these virtual currencies and between virtual currencies and traditional assets and systems. You know, RLUSD, other countries are not going to want to use it because it's still tied to the US dollar. It's the same reason that every country wants to have their own central bank digital currency. They want a level playing field. And that's why Ripple, in my opinion, is going to create RLEUR. They're going to create a stablecoin in every other country tied to that country's fiat system. And then you could utilize XRP as a bridge in between those stable coins or a trust layer in between two countries. But that's why XRP will always have the upper hand on RLUSD because it offers a level playing field and it moves anything of value. This comes from Anders. Hope you read the user terms for RLUSD. Hint, it's extensive, and it's crucial knowing the rules in beforehand since Ripple can freeze RLUSD. And they can. They also have a clawback for RLUSD as well. The categories of businesses, business practices, and sale items listed below are barred from using RLUSD. And then you could go on and read through all of the regulations or rules that Ripple put on RLUSD. But then they go on to say this, and this is the important part. In the event that Ripple learns user has engaged or is engaging in any prohibited businesses, Ripple will consider it to be a violation of these terms and may suspend or terminate all access or ability to use RLUSD with or without notice, which can result in potential inability to redeem RLUSD for US dollars with Ripple. That's going to make a lot of people worried about holding RLUSD. And you already see Ryan Martinez called it a Trojan horse. Here's the way I look at it. The U.S., this opens up the door for the U.S. to still be able to put sanctions in place. In other words, if a country is using RLUSD for terrorism or any illicit activity, they could just pull back that RLUSD or freeze it. But that also shows you that RLUSD can be looked at as a central bank digital currency. Remember all the things we learned about central bank digital currency? How they could freeze your money if they don't like things you're doing or things you're buying, or your central bank digital currency money will expire over time. But most likely Ripple had to put this in there to pass regulations, to launch their stablecoin. I don't think any retail investor needs to really worry about that. I mean, if you're taking your XRP and you're cashing it out into RLUSD, I don't see Ripple freezing your RLUSD unless you're using it for illicit activity. And here was some of the things that they were talking about: sale of narcotics, controlled substances, and any equipment designed for making, using drugs such as bongs, vaporizers, and hookahs. Then they also go on to talk about gambling, horse racing, casino games, and so on. But again, most likely they had to put that in the terms and conditions. ISO 222 will facilitate payments between legacy networks and emerging payment gateways like Ripple and R3 Corda. ISO 222 adoption is Ripple adoption. ISO is going to most likely utilize RLUSD, but in some cases, you're going to be utilizing cryptocurrencies like XRP, XLM, HBAR, and so on. And I think more people will shift towards cryptocurrencies and away from stablecoins, even with ISO, because if you're using RippleNet technology and RLUSD, it's not going to be as fast and cheap as if you're using RippleNet and the cryptocurrency XRP. We will know more once everything goes live. Ripple and Bank of International Settlements join forces to bring CBDC utilizing Ripple technology. 2025, huge year for XRP holders. Again, we know CBDCs are coming in 2025. A lot of countries are at the launch stage. They're ready to go live with their central bank digital currency. Here in the United States, I still think we need a digital bill of rights ahead of a CBDC. And even under Trump, we're going to get a central bank digital currency because we're going to do what the rest of the world is doing. You know, the US is not going to stay on the traditional banking system while the rest of the world is pushing into a new digital system. Most likely they'll call it the digital dollar stablecoin. Ripple is leading the cross-border payments international task force by BIS, Bank of International Settlements. $300 trillion in cross-border payments. Are you bullish or no? And we all know the ties that Ripple has to the BIS. The Bank of International Settlement is also the central bank of all central banks. It's the bank that the ECB, the Fed, and every other central bank answers to. And they're already utilizing and working with Ripple. Yes, Project Enbridge has been rebranded to BRICS Bridge. Like I kept saying, Ripple is already tied in with the BRICS. Even Project Enbridge, it's built off of the RippleNet technology and XRP, the cryptocurrency. I even showed you how inside, in between the BRICS, there's going to be massive liquidity pools, and XRP working as that trust layer in between India and China, China and Russia. This is the future. This is what you're invested in. And this has all been built out over the years. This didn't just come up overnight. This has been building out for a long time now. They're not going to go and start to build out an entirely new system. XRP is the next Bitcoin, but on steroids. Take a listen to this.
Many of these crypto assets are offered from places that I would call sunny places for shady people.
Could you give an example?
Well, I think we all know the kind of locations that we're talking about. So we need to have a global framework to regulate this. It doesn't make sense to just have national approaches. I think this is truly global, global in nature. And so we have been working concretely, and then I'll stop, on updating our regulations on global stablecoin arrangements and coming forward with a new set of recommendations for what we call unbacked crypto assets or other crypto assets. They are now in the open for consultation. So we are looking forward very much for sort of the response.
It's the first pitch of the panel, people.
Yeah, and then.
So you already know that global regulations are going to get put in place. We're not going to have different regulations from MiCA here in the United States and in every other country. Even once we get regulatory clarity for crypto, it's going to be a global clarity. Every other country is just going to adopt what the US comes up with, or whatever the EU comes up with, because you can have different regulations going from one country to another. But every single organization, the BIS, the IMF, the World Economic Forum, they're all telling you that Bitcoin will become irrelevant over time. And that's because we're going to go into a regulated time where utility-driven cryptocurrencies are going to lead the way. I don't even think Bitcoin will be a top 10 cryptocurrency once we have utility pushing everything forward. Once we have the new financial system up and running. Most likely, Bitcoin will be in the top 30 if you're lucky. And it's going to be running over all these other networks, like the XRP ledger. It's going to become tokenized. Even Larry Fink is telling you the path forward for Bitcoin is for it to become tokenized. And I don't know why people are fighting so hard all over X for Tether. Everybody's like, oh, it's all FUD. Tether's here to stay. Tether's going to be the biggest stablecoin for years to come. You know, the only people I could see fighting for Tether to have a future are people that hold Bitcoin, because they know once Tether goes, it's taking Bitcoin with it. Is Bitcoin really untethered? My afternoon read. This comes from Smoke. This is a detailed analysis that pushes the boundaries of traditional research using cutting-edge algorithms to decode the blockchain's hidden secrets. With this approach, you'll uncover how Tether purchases are masterfully timed after market dips, sparking sizable surges in Bitcoin prices. Timing isn't just important, it's everything. The enigma of Tether's backing remains a mystery to most, yet the majority of Tether's movements can be traced back to a single powerful entity. This means one wallet holds the reins, orchestrating the flow of funds between Tether and Bitcoin. These compelling patterns lend weight to the theory that the unbacked stablecoin USDT is playing a key role in artificially inflating cryptocurrency prices. And this is all the way back in 2019. It goes back even before then, 2017, most likely even 2014. But I think whoever's holding the power here, most likely it's partially the US government and other governments around the world. We know about the money laundering with FTX. FTX had strong ties to Tether in the Bahamas. And I think Tether was allowed to survive up to this point. But now we're moving into a regulated time, and Tether cannot pass regulations. You see what's going on with MiCA. But the people fighting for Tether to stick around are Bitcoin holders, because they all know once Tether's gone, Bitcoin will never, ever go above $100,000 ever again. You're lucky if it still makes it above 50K, in my opinion. I think it's going to go all the way down to around $15,000, and it's never really going to move going forward, because all the value in Bitcoin right now is propped up by Tether printed out of nothing. It is likely to be another 100+ years before another generational wealth opportunity that is accessible to so many comes around. To be clear, XRP, XLM, and XDC will run the rails of a completely new global financial system, with each token reaching astronomical values. It's the 8 ISO cryptocurrencies: XRP, XLM, XDC, QNT, HBAR, ADA, Algo, and IOTA. Those are the cryptocurrencies that can give you generational wealth. Every single one of them are still very undervalued right now. But if you don't take this opportunity, the next opportunity is another 100 years away. That's what's in front of you today. This is your generational wealth opportunity of your lifetime. And anybody that doesn't take this opportunity is going to be filled with regret. And there's a lot of people, even in the crypto space, that don't even look at the ISO cryptocurrencies. They're off chasing memes. They're investing in Bitcoin because it's all over the mainstream media news. There's talk of it being a reserve currency. I really don't think that is ever going to happen. It doesn't even make sense for that to happen. The world is pushing towards gold. Central banks have been stockpiling gold for years now. If anything, we are going to a gold-backed system. It will likely end the Fed. Hopefully, we get rid of the IRS as well. But then going forward, things are going to be revalued. Everything is going to have to be revalued. Gold is going to get revalued. And it's going to be sitting at a much higher price than it is right now. And that's why I always said, if you ever plan to cash out crypto, a good place to put that money is into actual physical gold. But you know, this is it. This is your shot. You either take it or you don't. And if you do take it, you cannot sell too soon. A lot of people are going to sell too soon. I see it already. There's so many people that have zero patience all over X. I think I'm going to sell my XRP. I think this run is over for XRP. It's like you've been holding it for literally a month and you want to jump out of XRP. Imagine us. Most of us have been holding XRP for 7 years, 6 years, 5 years, some even longer. And we're still sitting here with those diamond hands waiting for that passive income. And that's going to come with institutional adoption. But until it all happens, stay patient, stay positive, and let's get rich together. With that said, I'm going to wrap up this video. I want to thank you all for watching. I appreciate all of you. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great night.